From Luke chapter 4, beginning at verse 31. He, Jesus, went down to Capernaum, the city in Galilee, and was teaching them on the Sabbath. They were astounded at his teaching because he spoke with authority. In the synagogue, there was a man who had the spirit of an unclean demon, and he cried out with a loud voice, "Let us alone! What have you to do with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." But Jesus rebuked him, saying, "Be silent, and come out of him." When the demon had thrown him down before them, he came out of him without having done any harm. And they were all amazed and kept saying to one another, "What kind of utterance is this? With what authority and power he commands unclean spirits, and out they come." And a report about him began to reach every place in the region. The word of the Lord for the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
You may be seated. Until that day, my life was hardly worth living. It was horrible. Somewhere along the line, I had developed what you folks would call a mental disease or emotional disorder, but we call it what it really was: demon possession. I was possessed by a demon. And he wasn't with me all the time. He'd go on for a while, and then he'd come back, and I'd start doing strange things. I'd walk down the street shouting obscenities and blasphemies. Stand out in the middle of the street without my clothes on. Well, it really wasn't me. I mean, yeah, those things came out of my mouth. But I wasn't the one who was thinking them. I wasn't the one who was actually saying it. They were coming out of my mouth, but it wasn't me. And I was the one who was naked, but I was not the one who wanted to take off my clothes. It got so bad that when I'd go to the synagogue, because a lot of times it was okay, and I could go and just sit there and be fine. But if that demon took over, they had people starting to come and escort me out of the synagogue. And it was really hard. I mean, who's going to invite you over to their house for dinner if you're able to stand up in the middle of dinner and start cursing them? Who's going to want to be your friend if you're going to all of a sudden backstab them, even if you don't intend to, you know? It was a lonely, wretched existence. And I have to admit, there were actually times I thought about ending it. For some reason, I never did. And then that day, I went to synagogue on the Sabbath, and Jesus was there. Jesus from Nazareth, the wandering rabbi that people have been talking about. I was sitting there, I was listening to him, and he didn't preach the way other people did. He didn't teach the way that the Pharisees and the priests did. He actually talked like he knew what he was talking about. He had this sense of authority and confidence that just exuded out. And everybody was saying, "Who is this guy? Where does he get this stuff? How's he doing this?" And I knew, down in the bottom of my heart, I knew that this was the place that I was supposed to be, and this was the time I was supposed to be there. And I would have been satisfied to sit there for the rest of my life, listening to Jesus talk about things like forgiveness and love and God's protection. And then the demon came. And I stood up, and I felt myself standing up, and I felt myself shouting, "Who are you, Jesus of Nazareth, and what do you want with us? I know who you are. You're here to destroy the Holy One of God." I'm thinking, no, I want to stay here. Now they're going to throw me out. And sure enough, the guy stood up and came up to get me. And Jesus held his hand up and stopped him. And he looked right at me. In those eyes, I saw more love, more care, more concern than I had ever seen anywhere by anyone in all my life. And he looked right at me with all that love, and he said, "Be quiet! Come out of him!" And I could feel a war going on inside of me. It was really weird. My head started to hurt because the demon was fighting like crazy to stay in, and the spirit was fighting like crazy to push him out of there. And the next thing I know, I'm rolling on the floor and I'm screaming and yelling because I'm in pain. And then poof, the demon left. And it wasn't like the other times he left, because the other times when he'd leave me for a while, he'd just kind of quietly walk away. And I knew it, and I always knew he was coming back. But this time, I knew he was gone for good. He was never coming back. I was finally free. And if you've never been enslaved, if you've never been controlled by something outside of yourself, you have no idea what that feels like. The closest I can think of that would come to that, you all might understand, would be if you've conquered the demon of alcohol or drug abuse, and you're finally free. And as amazing and exciting as that was, what happened next was even more amazing. Jesus continued to travel around the countryside. And every place he went, he was healing people and casting out demons and performing miracles. I heard that one time he actually fed 5,000 people with nothing more than 5 loaves of bread and 3 little fish, or maybe it was 3 little fish and 5 loaves of bread. I just get the story confused in my brain all the time. But with that little food, he fed 5,000 people. And then about 3 years later, he went to Jerusalem for the Passover. And when he entered into the Passover, I was there for this one. I remember this one. He came into Jerusalem, and we were cutting down palms and laying them down, and we were shouting and screaming, "Hosanna, blessed is the Son of God." And I guess somehow the leaders, the priests and the Pharisees and all those people must have felt threatened by Jesus. They certainly didn't recognize him. I mean, the demon knew who he was. The demon said, "I know who you are. You're the Holy One of God." And you'd think if the demon knew who they were, the priests would. But like the demon, the priests saw him as a threat. So they had him executed. They had him nailed to, they had him crucified on a cross. And you'd think that was the end of the story, but it wasn't. Because he came back. His disciples. Before long, they're going out in the countryside. They're preaching the message. They're healing the sick. They're raising the dead. They're doing the miracles. And what's even more exciting is it's still going on today. And in fact, it's going on right here, right now. The gift of healing is still available. All you have to do is ask in faith and receive it.